Romantic poetry is a literary movement that emerged in the late 18th century and reached its peak in the early 19th century. It was characterized by a focus on emotion, imagination, and a celebration of nature and individualism. Here are some key features of Romantic poetry: emotion and subjectivity, inspiration from nature, imagination and creativity, individualism, love and idealization, unconventional style. Prominent Romantic poets include William Wordsworth, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, John Keats, Percy Bysshe Shelley, Lord Byron. Each poet contributed to the Romantic movement, but these common features define the essence of Romantic poetry. Emotion and subjectivity. Emotion and subjectivity are central features to Romantic poetry. It helps Romantic poets shape their exploration of personal feelings and experiences. For example, William Wordsworth, in his famous poem, Lines Composed a Few Miles Above Tintern Abbey, expresses the emotional impact of revisiting a natural landscape after a period of absence. The poem is filled with the subjective experience of joy, tranquility, and the influence of nature on the poet's mind. Similarly, in the poem Kubla Khan, Samuel Taylor Coleridge explores a dreamlike and fantastical world. The poem captures the subjective experience of the poet's imagination. John Keats, in his Ode to a Nightingale, reflects on the fleeting nature of joy and the contrast between the immortal nightingale's song and the transitory nature of human life. Percy Bysshe Shelley, in his poem To a Skylark, explores the theme of the skylark as a symbol of transcendent beauty and unbounded creativity. The poem is filled with Shelley's emotional response to the skylark's ethereal existence. These examples show how these Romantic poets used emotion and subjectivity to convey their personal experiences, feelings, and reflections on nature and the human condition. Inspiration from nature. Nature played a pivotal role in Romantic poetry, therefore, it is one of its important features. Nature influences their thoughts, emotions, and artistic expressions. For example, in the poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Samuel Taylor Coleridge explores the supernatural elements of nature. The mariner's journey reflects the consequences of disrupting the natural order and the spiritual redemption found in nature. Likewise, Percy Bysshe Shelley's poem Mont Blanc explores the majesty and power of the mountain as a symbol of the awe-inspiring forces that shape the world. Another Romantic poet, Lord Byron, in his poem Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, uses nature to reflect the emotional states of his protagonists. In this epic poem, nature becomes a mirror for the wanderings and struggles of Childe Harold. These examples highlight how these Romantic poets drew inspiration from nature to explore a wide range of themes, including the sublime, the connection between humanity and the natural world, and the emotional and spiritual impact of natural landscapes. Imagination and creativity. Imagination and creativity are major features of Romantic poetry. Many Romantic poets use these features to express their emotions in their poetry. Coleridge's Kubla Khan is the best example of it. The poem is a vivid and imaginative depiction of a dreamlike landscape inspired by a vision. The poem is an exploration of the creative process. Coleridge describes the act of poetic creation. He describes how a poet connects with the depths of the imagination. Similarly, Byron's protagonist, Childe Harold, explores various landscapes and experiences in a lengthy narrative poem, Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. Byron utilizes vivid and imaginative descriptions to evoke the emotional and psychological states of the protagonist. The poem reflects the interplay between the external world and the internal, imaginative realm of the protagonist. These examples demonstrate how each Romantic poet explores imagination and creativity in their unique ways. Individualism. Individualism is one of the significant features of Romantic poetry. Many poems of Romantic poets highlight their expressions of individualism. In I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, commonly known as Daffodils, Wordsworth describes the joy he experiences in solitude. He emphasizes the subjective nature of the emotional experience. In Ode to a Grecian Urn, Keats contemplates the frozen scenes depicted on the urn. The poet emphasizes the enduring nature of art and the individual's ability to appreciate its beauty. Likewise, in Manfred, Byron explores the character of a proud and individualistic man who rejects societal norms and seeks self-exploration. In each of these examples, the poets express and celebrate the individual's unique experiences, emotions, and perspectives. Love and idealization. Love and idealization are prominent features of Romantic poetry. Every Romantic poet explores these features in their own unique ways. The poem, Ode to a Nightingale, is the finest example of it. Keats creates a contrast between ideal and real. The poet desires for immortality like the song of the nightingale. Keats idealizes the nightingale as a symbol of eternal beauty and art. The bird becomes a representation of the idealized, immortal world that contrasts with the harsh realities of human existence. The poem, Love's Philosophy, by Percy Bysshe Shelley explores the interconnectedness of all things and the idea that love is a universal force that binds everything together. Shelley idealizes love as a force that should be mirrored and reciprocated in nature. He presents various elements of nature and compares them to different aspects of love. The poem also suggests a harmonious ideal where all things are united through love. The exploration of love and idealization in Romantic poetry is rich and varied. It offers readers a profound insight into the complexities of human emotion and the pursuit of the ideal in art and life. Unconventional style. Romantic poetry embraces unconventional style, hence it is one of its prominent features. There are many examples of unconventional styles in the poetry of Romantic poets. Lyrical ballads is the first in the list. Wordsworth, along with Coleridge, published Lyrical Ballads in 1798. This collection of poems challenges traditional poetic forms and themes. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, by Coleridge, incorporates supernatural elements and a narrative structure that differs from conventional ballads. Coleridge uses symbolic and imaginative language to convey deeper meanings. Coleridge, like Wordsworth, sometimes uses colloquial language to bring a sense of naturalness to his poetry. John Keats was known for his rich and sensuous imagery that appealed to the senses. Keats also introduced the concept of negative capability. It is the ability to accept uncertainty, doubt, and mystery without pursuing logical answers. Shelley experimented with dramatic monologues, where a speaker addresses an implied audience. The poem Mont Blanc features a dramatic monologue that explores the power and sublime nature of the mountain. Byron's narrative style often included satire and humor to criticize societal norms. These examples highlight the unconventional styles employed by Romantic poets. It shows their departure from classical norms and their innovative approaches to language, form, and themes. Conclusion. In summary, Romantic poetry is a literary movement flourishing from the late 18th to early 19th century. It is marked by a profound focus on emotion, imagination, and nature. Key features of Romantic poetry include emotional subjectivity, nature-inspired themes, imaginative creativity, individualistic expression, love's idealization, and unconventional styles. Prominent poets like Wordsworth, Coleridge, Keats, Shelley, and Byron contributed uniquely to this movement.